Can I just say, in my experience of classroom democracy, maybe I just know particularly nice kids, but the idea of minority rights, which is why I think that we should always be talking about democracy and human rights in the same breath, and that respect for the minority's point of view is terribly important. And I've always found with kids that they like that idea. The idea that you should just win over somebody else and beat them down and ignore their point of view, that's not at all how I find young people. I find too many adults like that with our party political power games, but I don't find young people working a direct democracy in a classroom. That's just not my experience. And in fact, one of the rules that my class made, the hands up, the 5 hands up, and it goes quiet for 5 minutes, that rule was made to respect minority rights. It wasn't a majority decision. It only took 5 of the 34 kids to find the room unworkable, and the whole class would go quiet. And that was absolutely a consensus decision without any compulsory consensus, if you see what I mean. It was a spontaneous consensus that recognized the rights of the other, and not everybody's the same.
If I may, Derry, here's what we're seeing on the ground. And this is, I think, a direct impact of a few factors coming together. Number one, we stopped teaching civic education in the West. And you saw that preference for strongman leadership has increased year over year to the point where it's in the mid 30s, low 40s for the percentage of the population would prefer a dictator. Like, this has just been a steady trend since the 1990s. And what I'm seeing locally, and I'm sure this is echoed around the world, is we have to name it, the biggest threat to democratic education right now is white supremacism. It is coming through in schools in Ottawa where white youth are saying blood and soil in the classroom directly. Like, it is not growing, it has grown and metastasized to dangerous conditions. And so that idea of, yes, I agree, generally young people don't want to do that, but what I've seen happen in the last 5 years, especially working at a high school level, is that the echo chambers of social media, if you will, of the algorithms and the way YouTube shows content, means that young people are actually far less likely to listen to one another than they have ever been in the past.
Could I suggest that might be partly to do with the authoritarian hierarchical ethos of the high school, that they've in fact learned this implicitly from the way they've been treated, so we shouldn't be surprised if it takes them some time to unlearn it. But I'm talking about how kids treat each other if they've only known a democratic participative environment.
Yes, agreed. Yeah.
For example, Summerhill.